So there's actually a lot of different programs that are available for forest landowners, offered by both government agencies and private organizations as well. So there's a couple of programs here that the state of Michigan offers to landowners to help lower their property taxes. The Commercial Forest Program or the Qualified Forest Program are two programs that will help a landowner reduce their property taxes. And that's important because keeping the cost of ownership reasonable is really important to keeping forests as forests and being able to pass those forests on to the next generation. So reasonable property taxes are important. There's a couple of programs offered by the Department of Natural Resources or the Natural Resources Conservation Service on helping a landowner find a forest or to write a management plan to help them learn about their property and to manage that property. There's a variety of programs out there that will help landowners improve the wildlife habitat on their property. They could be working with conservation organizations like the Michigan United Conservation Clubs or the Ruffed Grouse Society or Pheasants Forever or Trout Unlimited. There's a variety of private sector organizations that will help a landowner evaluate and improve the wildlife habitat on their property. There's also programs that will help landowners implement and fund conservation practices on their property. The Natural Resources Conservation Service provides funding to help landowners implement conservation practices on their properties. So if they have problems like forest health issues or soil erosion or water quality issues or even wildlife habitat issues, the Natural Resources Conservation Service may provide financial assistance to help do some of those programs. There's additional programs from local land conservancies to help a family enroll in a conservation easement to protect their property permanently. And there's about 35 or so land conservancies throughout the state that will help a landowner protect their property with a conservation easement. And then there's forest certification programs. The American Tree Farm System, the Forest Stewardship Council, and the Sustainable Forestry Initiative are three different forest certification programs that will help landowners identify good forest management and implement those good forest practices in their woods, and then certify that they are doing those things and that any forest products that are harvested from their land are going to the marketplace in a sustainable supply chain. So the good news is that we already have programs that will help landowners take good care of the riparian zone where the water meets up with the land. The primary program in Michigan that's going to be helping landowners is the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, which is administered by the Natural Resources Conservation Service. And there's an abundance of funding available for forest landowners to get funding from the Natural Resources Conservation Service to do things like stabilize the stream banks and to minimize soil erosion, to put in stream crossings, whether that's a new culvert or a small bridge, to allow traffic to cross a river without causing erosion. So they'll do things for stream habitat improvement projects where they will fund installing rocks or logs to provide habitat for fish. So the NRCS already has programs available to help landowners improve the riparian zone. And most of those programs require landowners to have a written forest management plan to guide the implementation of those practices. And all forest management plans in Michigan require landowners to evaluate not only the land and the water and the woods, but also the water resources on a property, and to identify are there any rivers or lakes on the property, and to then use best management practices to protect that soil and water quality. And so a management plan should help a landowner identify any potential problems, but then also look for potential solutions. And the NRCS will help provide funding to implement those solutions. At the same time, government subsidy programs can't solve all the problems that we have here in Michigan. And so I'm very interested in market-based solutions. One of the nice things about forestry is that you can often make money by making improvements to your land and using a timber sale as a management tool to make improvements to the land can provide income for the family, but then also make improvements to the structure of the forest and make the forest more resilient to forest health issues, and also to address any water quality issues and using best management practices to protect that soil and water quality. And so we've been working closely with loggers in Michigan, primarily through the Michigan Association of Timbermen, which is an association of 500 loggers and small sawmills, to help them, pay more attention to best management practices and water quality issues. And really, loggers are very receptive to this message, because every logger I've ever met is also an angler. And so they enjoy spending time in the woods and on the rivers and in the lakes on the weekend. And loggers are proud of the work that they're doing in the woods, and they want to provide clean water. And so working with loggers has been a very productive part of this project in getting loggers excited about water quality and so forth. Michigan just updated their best management practices manual in 2018. And when we updated the manual, one contribution that I had was getting a picture of an angler on the cover of the forestry best management practices, so that foresters and landowners and loggers can think about how their work upstream is providing benefits downstream when they're doing good work in the woods.